Hey YouTube, this is Kristen with Roadstead to Homestead, and this is our homeschooling with board game series. This is the game Splendor that Brad talked about the other night. And I'm just going to take some time and just show you the inside of the game. There's a rule book that has for 2 to 4 players, 10 and up. We play with our 7 and 8-year-olds, so you can play with younger kids. It explains everything here, the 2 and 3 player variations and how to play with that. See, you've got your wild bunch of poker chips and some cards. These are your wild ones. These can be used as any type of gem. These are your green ones. You've got your emeralds, your sapphires, your rubies, your diamonds, and your onyx. Then you've got some lords here, which I'll go into greater detail of explaining. They visit you once you get and acquire a certain amount of mines, which are going to come from these cards here, which are your guaranteed gems. You'll always have them every turn. There's just a few here. There are some points here, which is the object of the game, is to get the most points. You then have cards that go from, these are your easy cards. They're easier to get. You can get them really just with picking up your poker chip gems, and you can start your diamond, your mines, your ruby, your onyx, your diamonds. Then you have your medium version. And these cards, some of them you can get with just the poker chips, but a lot of them you really need to have a stockpile of these cards first. And then your hard ones, which are really rare to get. The game, sometimes depending on the amount of players, you get these cards, sometimes you don't. That's why there's a small amount of them. And we're going to show you how to play a 2-player game, so I'm going to pull out the different cards that we're going to use for this game. And because it's a 2-player game, you pull out 3 lords. Those are the ones who will come visit. It's 1 extra lord for the amount of players. And then you kind of set it up like this. You have these set out already, just in case. You put them in a row of 4. Lots of rubies out here. It gives you guys options in the beginning. There's 4 different options for you to get. And then, since we're going to play with the 2-player game, there's a total of 7 chips here, but you're only going to use 4 of each gem, and you will use all 5 of the wild gems. So pull these out here. Now, during your turn, you can do one of a few things. You can take two gems of any color. You can take 2 gems of the same color. However, there always has to be 2 gems left in this pile. You can turn in gems to claim cards, or you can decide that you want to keep a card. You don't want anyone else to get that card, and you'll get a wild gem. The only time you can get those. Now that's your card. You can only hold on to 3 of them or hoard 3 of them at a time. And that means that now I can know that I can collect 3 rubies, because there's 3 rubies here. No one's going to steal that before I get my 3 rubies. That'll be mine as soon as I get it. Only I can claim it. Then, as you go through the game, you can only ever have 10 of these gems altogether on your playing hand. So if I collect a whole bunch of gems here, and it's my turn again, and I went and I've collected 2 of every gem, and there's nothing out on the board that I can claim, I can't claim anything. If not, I have to claim. So in this case, I've collected 2 of every gem. I would take my turn and collect this, because I can have no more than 10 poker chip gems in my hand at one time. I can have as many card gems, these are my mines we call them, as I want. Now, as the game goes on, we talked about you have these lords. These lords have, in this case, this one is 3 rubies, 3 sapphire, and 3 emeralds. I have to collect these mines. I have to have 3 emerald mines, 3 sapphire mines, and 3 ruby mines at the end of my turn. And when I have 3 of each of those mines, if I'm the first player to get that, this lord will come to me and will come visit my mines and my gems. These points help because the first player to 15 points ends the game. Once a player gets 15 points, then the game is not over, but everyone gets one more turn to accumulate all the points that they can get. If you notice, on the lower end, there's not many points. There's 1 point here or there. And then here they have some 2s and 1s. And then up here you got the big numbers, the 4s and the 5s. But at the end of my turn, if I had accumulated 15 points, then we go one more round after me, and I actually get to take my last turn, and whoever has the most points at the end of that actually wins the game. So even if I get 15 points, let's say someone was at 14 points, they can get something worth 2 points and beat me by a point. So I don't necessarily win the game, but I start the final round.
Alright guys, so now that my wife has explained how to play the game, I want to talk to the homeschoolers out there and explain why this is a good game for homeschooling. And here's how it works. As my wife said, you can only have 10 of the poker chips in your hand at one time, meaning you have a limited amount of these resources that you can get. And each one of these chips gives you 1 gem of that color. The reason that this works for homeschool is you have to figure out how to collect which gems to collect in order to buy which ones of these cards in order to get to the points faster than the other players. And you can see this is worth 3 points. So an example of that would be, let's say, the first card that would be easiest to purchase. And I'm going to say, for me, I would choose this card. And you can see it's a green card, and it costs, in the bottom corner, 3 red. So what I would do on my first turn is I would collect 2 red from
So I've chosen my 2
gems, and my goal is to get this card. My wife would take her turn, she would take her gems. On my next turn, I would take 1 of these, and then 2 of another. Because if you're not choosing 2 of the same color, you can choose 3 gems of different colors. So I can take 3 of a different color. So I was able to get 3 red, which can pay for this card on my next turn. But now I can choose 2 other colors. And looking at the cards that are available, my thought is that this card would be easiest to get next. So I would choose then a white gem and a blue gem. And this creates what's called your hand. And so on my sequential turns, I would pay for this card. I would draw another white to help pay for this card. And once that's done, what happens is I now always have 2 green cards available to me to spend. And if we look at our Lord cards, one of them, you need to have 3 green gem mines. And there's another one that says you must have 4. Meaning that green is going to be the most valuable color to purchase at the moment. Not only green, but also blue, because they both share blue. So if you can stack up the green gems, you're going to get points faster. And this is what helps kids to think sort of in the direction of algebra. They're having to solve for the unknown. This really helps children with critical thinking, which feeds into math. Because you have to think, how many turns is it going to take for me to get this card, which is then going to help me pay for what other cards, which will then help me pay for one of the Lord cards, so that I can collect 15 points faster than my opponents. So it's not a game that's combative. You're not beating each other up. You're using your mind to think critically and to think ahead. And that is what helps children with math and algebra especially, and then just critical thinking. How to build basically an engine where you have the right number of gems to get the right points to win the game.
Hey YouTube, this is Roadstead to Homestead, and I want to thank you for watching our explanation video on how to play the game of Splendor. I would like to invite you to watch our playthrough of the video of the game between myself and Kristen, and I won't tell you who wins, but well, you just have to wait and see. So check out our playthrough video, and that'll help you understand the game a little bit more and go in a little more in depth to the rules. And we'll see you guys on our next board game adventure. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also check us out on Facebook. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.